Get ready for beautiful, easy, and affordable Easter DIYs. Using mostly Dollar Tree products, I made all of these beautiful pieces of home decor, and you can do the same, all on a budget. And as always, DIY treats. Welcome to my channel, Craft, Eat, Repeat. Hi guys, it's Aneka and welcome to my channel, Craft, Eat, Repeat. So today I have some kind of farmhousey Easter DIYs to show you. They're all using Dollar Tree products, so they're super affordable. And even though I have kind of like a modern farmhouse boho type of feel going on, when it comes to Easter and spring, I just really love color. So I hope that you guys enjoy the bright colors in these Easter DIYs, but also keep in mind, if you like more of a monochromatic look, you can also just paint things different colors and make them fit right into the decor at your home. So I really hope you enjoy them. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button. Everyone, hit that notification bell so you'll be ready when my next video comes out. And when it's over, head down to the comments and let me know which DIY was your favorite, or as always, you can just say hi. Also, don't forget to find me on all my social media platforms. Let me see what you're working with, what you're working on, and all the beautiful spring and Easter DIYs that I know you guys are doing to beautify your homes this season. Okay, guys, it's time to craft. Now for the first project, I had to pull out my bucket of beads. You guys, I'm obsessed with beads. I buy them whenever I see them on sale. There's lots that you can get at Dollar Tree, but I also pick them up at Walmart, Michael's, wherever I'm seeing a great sale. So I'm going to start out by choosing whatever beads I'd like to use, and I want to paint these orange. So I'm using this paint that I got from Walmart. It was only 50 cents, and I'm going to show you a super quick and much more clean way to paint your beads than trying to use a paintbrush. So I'm just going to put them in a little Tupperware, or you can use a bowl, and all I'm going to do is add drop by drop a little bit of paint, and I'm going to roll them around. Now I did realize partially through this one that it's much easier if you use beads that are about the same size so that the bigger ones aren't taking all the paint. But you just want to add it drip by drip. Now you don't want to put too much paint in there at once, or you're not going to get a nice smooth look out of your painted beads, and that's usually what I'm going for. Once they're as covered as you'd like them to be, I just take them out and I let them dry on a plate. If you want to, you can let them dry on a dowel, but I find a plate to do the trick just as well. Now when these come out, I like the way that they kind of look dyed, so they're not completely covered, but they have that orange on there and they look a little more rustic. But if you want a more full coverage, you can just go ahead and after your first layer of paint dries, do the same process again, and you can get an even more even and saturated look. Now for the next step, I'm going to use some of this green yarn. I already had this at home, but of course you can pick some up at Walmart. They do have yarn at Dollar Tree, or I actually think it would look really cute with twine. It just wouldn't look quite like an Easter carrot like the look that I'm going for today. So I'm going to make a tassel out of my yarn. I'm going to start by wrapping some yarn around my finger about 20 times. If you're making a smaller one, you can go for 10 times. And then next, I'm going to get a long piece of yarn and I'm just going to tie it onto one end of the loop. Next, I need to tie it off at the top to make sure that it looks like a tassel. So I'm going to get a piece of yarn that's about 2 to 3 inches long. I'm going to make a loop at one side, and then with the other side, I'm going to wrap it around 3 to 4 times. Next, I'm going to take that end that I'm holding and put it right through the loop that I made at the beginning, and then I'm going to pull both ends. Now by doing this, it actually ties the knot under the yarn that we just wrapped around, and it gives it a nice clean look without you seeing the knot on the outside of the tassel. Now all that's left is to give my tassel a little haircut, and that's it. Now it's time to combine my tassel and my beads to make my Easter carrot bead garland. Now, in order to make it easier for me to put the beads onto the yarn, I just used a little bit of painter's tape at one end, wrapped it around, and this gave me a nice fine and firm point to put through the holes so that I could string my beads onto my tassel. And now I'm just going to make a little loop if you want kind of a circular bead garland, and I'm going to make it into a loop. And that's it. I just love how easy this was to put together, and I really love that I can reuse these crafting supplies for the next season. I could really easily just repaint these beads, or I could leave them orange and get another bit of black yarn and change it out for Halloween. Whatever you want, you could do that. Now, here's another option using the same supplies that would be really cute for Easter. I'm going to take some of my leftover beads, and I did color some in different sizes. I just grabbed a bunch and tossed them in the paint. So I'm going to put them in order descending in size, and then I'm going to do the same thing by making a tassel and stringing them onto the string. Once I've got them all on there, I have a cute little Easter carrot. How adorable is that? I think these would be really cute on an Easter place setting, or you could use them as fillers around your home. It's just another cute option to use for Easter. Now for our next DIY, I'm going to be using one of these wooden signs, some eggs from Dollar Tree, and some of these clothespins. Now I'm going to start out by taking the hanger off the back of the sign, and I'm also going to use 1.5 of these egg crates that I got from Dollar Tree. I love how they come in these little crates instead of just in plastic bags, and I really like to use those in the decor as well. So I'm going to cut one in half just using an X-Acto knife, or if you're using a different frame or a different container to do this DIY, you'll just have to cut it to fit whatever you're using. Once I have it in half, I'm going to go ahead and place these right into that frame that I got from Dollar Tree, and I actually put my eggs back in them at this point, but you can do this without putting the eggs in, however you feel it's easiest for you to create this DIY. Next, I'm going to go ahead and take my clothespins, and one option you can do is to just clip them right on. It makes a really cute look and a little less work, but I like the look of it without that metal piece on there, so I'm going to take the time to go ahead and take apart each one of these clothespins. This also doubles the materials that I have, so I don't need to use 2 packs of clothespins. Now, one by one, I'm just going to hot glue the clothespins all around the outside border of my picture frame, making a little basket, picket fence looking situation that I really think is cute and fits into the farmhouse decor look really well. One tip you can use when you're doing this part is to make sure to keep your picture frame on the table and press down each time you put one of the clothespins on to make sure they line up nice and evenly. Once that was done, I realized that it made my basket a lot deeper than I intended, so all I did was use a little paper towel, or if you have some newspaper, you can just fold that under there, and that raised my eggs up a little higher so that I could see them much more easily. Next, I wanted to put a little bit of filler in. I thought it would look cute with some moss, especially if you're going for a more monochromatic look. If you're using more of the white and off-white eggs they have at Dollar Tree, that would be super cute. But since I was going for a more colorful, Eastery look, I decided to go ahead and use this basket filler, which is also green, very reminiscent of grass, but just gave a little more pop of that bright pastel color that I love for spring. Next, I'm going to grab some of these clips that I also got from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to write 25 cents on there. Of course, you can write any cute Easter saying you want to. And I'm going to use a dowel, also from a pack that I got from Dollar Tree, and glue it together. To add just a little more cuteness, I'm going to go ahead and use some white raffia that I had on hand to make a little bow of types to put on the front. And then I'm going to glue this to the side of my basket. I'm also going to use the raffia to wrap around the outside of the basket that I made, and I just made sure to line this up on the little indentation where the metal clip was on my clothespins. This way it's covered up and it gives it another cute little design element that's kind of Eastery and nice to see. And that's it. I was thinking about switching these eggs out for the kind that can open and maybe putting some little treats inside so that my kids can reach in from time to time and get a treat out. We'll see. But I think this is going to be really adorable in my home. Now, this next DIY was kind of accidental, but I love how it came out. I found these really cute pencil holders at the Dollar Tree, and I thought they would look really nice as boho candles. I plan to use these candlesticks, some of which are new from Dollar Tree and some of which I've painted for previous DIYs. But I have so many projects on deck that I realized these would be really cute for Easter, and then when Easter is over, I can take them apart, change the color up, and make them into my regular decor, which is going to be more of a boho look. So I'm going to start out by taking the padding off of the bottom. These came off relatively easily, but if they give you any difficulty, you can use a little Goo Gone to get it off, or you can use the blow dryer trick. Just apply a little heat, and usually the adhesive releases a lot more easily. Once that's done, I'm going to take my candlestick and I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue and place it on the bottom. Now, if you want this to be more permanent, you can use a stronger adhesive like Gorilla Glue or E6000. But like I said, I know I'm going to change these up, and I love how I can use this hot glue and it stays firmly for what I need it to, but also with just a little bit of pressure, I can take it off and reuse the parts. As you can see, a lot of these candlesticks have gone through different cake plates, candle holders, whatever I want, and I've taken them apart and am now reusing them again. And just that easily, we have these really cute pieces of Easter decor. I use these little ceramic bunnies that I got from Dollar Tree to put in them, along with some flowers. You can put candles in them, whatever you want, but they're really cute for Easter. This last DIY is also a very easy one. If you've been watching my channel, you know my love of twine, but for Easter I wanted to do some color, so I'm using some baker's twine. Now, I got these Easter eggs from the Dollar Tree, as well as this little pack of 3 colors of baker's twine, and I chose the eggs that were about the color of the twine so that if there were any tiny little gaps, it would be less obvious. Now I'm going to start at the top of my egg, and I'm just going to start with a very thin line of hot glue, and I'm going to wrap the twine around and around this egg. Now, this was a really easy process to complete, but it did take a little bit of time. So this is definitely a throw some music on and maybe watch a video that you enjoy and get this project done. Now, I did need to use glue on the very top of the project, but as I started working my way down and until I got about halfway down, I was able to go ahead and just wrap it without gluing every piece. Then once I got to the middle where the little separation is where you take the egg apart, I just used a little hot glue again and glued it all the way down to make sure it was secure. Now I'm going to turn my egg over and do the same process to the other side of the egg. Now, you guys, I did a few of these and I tried using glue all the way around the egg from top to bottom. I tried just wrapping it without using the glue, and doing it this way by going halfway down and then flipping it over is by far the easiest. So save yourself a little bit of headache and just do one side and then flip it over and do the other. Now, because I didn't get it exactly even from top to bottom, there was a little bit of open space, but it was really easy to cover up in the end just by running my piece of twine back and forth over that little open space. And that was it. These eggs are so cute. I love how they look, and I think they would look really cute as filler around your house. There's actually another pack at Dollar Tree that has, I think, yellow, black, and one more color of twine. I can't remember, but they look really fun, and I love how they came out. Okay, all of those DIYs were so easy and so fun to put together, and I just love those little pops of like spring and Easter around my home. But I have to say, I'm just really smitten with those little bead garlands that look like carrots. I don't know why. Orange isn't even one of my favorite colors, but every time I look at them, they just kind of make me smile. So those are definitely my favorite. But make sure you head down to the comments and let me know which DIY was your favorite. So for today's treat, I'm following along with the Easter theme, and I have kind of a Pinterest inspired DIY treat that I did, and I had never done these before. So as I'm showing you how I made them, I'll also kind of show you tips that I figured out as I was doing it for the first time. But you guys, these came out so adorably. They were so easy to make, and they keep really well. So if you're going to have people over for Easter, or if you're making a snack to take to church, or you know, something like that, these are perfect. So it's time to eat. I'm going to start out by making some cinnamon sugar. Now, there is a recipe, and I will be sure to link the blog post below in the description box for you to look at if you want measurements. However, when it comes to cinnamon sugar, I usually just pour it in a bowl and see how my heart feels about it. So I just mix some cinnamon and sugar together. You can use other spices as well if you would like to, and I set that to the side. I also took about 2 tablespoons of butter and melted that in the microwave and set that to the side as well. Next, I'm going to use 1 box of puff pastry, which came with 2 sheets in the box. Now, you want to be sure that this is thawed enough to be pliable. I made the mistake of having mine be slightly too cold, and it was a little hard to manage at one of the future steps. So make sure yours is not too sticky, but also easily pliable. Next, I'm going to take my melted butter and I'm going to brush it onto my first sheet of puff pastry, making sure to leave about 1/2 inch to 1 inch on the side with no butter on it on each side. Now I'm going to take my cinnamon sugar mixture and just sprinkle that over the butter, making sure it has a little bit of time to kind of soak into the butter. This is going to help it to not fall out at one of the future steps. Now, if you like cinnamon and sugar, be sure to pour it on at this point. Next, I'm going to take a little bit of water and I'm going to wet up that little strip at each end of my puff pastry dough. This is just going to help it to stay together a little bit better once we bake it. And now it's time for my second piece of puff pastry. I'm just going to set it right on top, and then using a fork, I'm going to crimp down the sides to make sure that they stay closed during the baking process. Next, I'm going to use a pizza cutter to cut this into strips. Now, after I finished the process, I realized that the ones that I cut a little more thinly actually were the cutest, and they were a little more tasty in my opinion because they gave a little bit of a crispier outcome. So I would cut mine to a little bit more than 1/2 inch, maybe between 1/2 inch and 1 inch, and you'll also get more out of your puff pastry if you do thinner cuts. And I'll be able to show you the difference because some of mine didn't come out as well as others. Now, this is why your pastry dough needs to be pliable. Next, we're going to take our dough and we're just going to make a little loop out of it. And at the ends, we're going to squeeze it closed to make little bunny ears. So we're going to crisscross, crisscross again, and then squeeze the top to make little bunny ears. I also did kind of press down on the top of each one to make sure that they were nice and flat. Once I put them in the oven, this is how they came out. As you can see, the few on the bottom were the thinner ones, and they really give me this little cute little bunny shape. The ones on the top were a little thicker. I didn't squeeze the ears as much, but let me tell you guys, these mistakes were really, really delicious to take care of. And I gave my kids the ones that look like actual bunnies. I just used a little bit of icing to make a little bunny tail, and that was it. I love how these came out. They were so easy, so yummy, and I love that I could take them to a potluck, and I think they would be a hit. Thanks for watching the Dollar Tree DIY Easter decor ideas. I really hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to head down to the comments and let me know which one was your favorite. Give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends, and I'll see you next time when we repeat it all again.